What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another Overwatch League news video. And in a shocking turn of events, Jake has decided to come out of retirement and rejoin the Houston Outlaws. That was not something I was expecting to see at all. I thought Jake was really enjoying his retirement and he was going to stay that way, but here he is. I guess the motivation has come back. I'm sure a bunch of you are probably in the same boat as me in the sense that you don't really know how to feel. On one hand, I personally am very happy about this. I'm overjoyed to see Jake now be an even closer part of the Overwatch League than he already was, being a color caster last year, because I love Jake to death. I think he's an amazing person to watch. I think he's very entertaining. Also, he's just a great guy in general. But at the same time, he isn't really what he used to be. He's not really as high up on the totem pole, if you will, as he used to be. He's kind of just an okay flex DPS at this point in his career. So why did he want to come out of retirement? What was the deal? Well, Jake kind of talked about it a little bit in a twit longer he posted, which I will leave a link to in the description if you want to read it for yourself. And in it, he talks about how he had no idea what the future was going to hold, and it actually wasn't really part of his plan at first, but then the opportunity kind of came up, and I guess his motivation came back to play, so here he is. According to Jake, a big reason why he retired last year was because he just needed a break. He needed to reset, if you will. Get his mindset back to a good place and just live a healthier lifestyle. He was tired of being a pro gamer, and I can't blame him at all. That career path can be very exhausting with all the scrimming and just amount of time you have to invest in general. It's exhausting. From what I've seen over the years on the internet, it can be absurdly hard to manage and balance this lifestyle with just taking care of yourself in general, and that's what Jake worked on during the 1 year he took off. He worked on his eating habits, his exercise, his sleeping, etc., even his practice habits. And now, according to him, this is the best he's ever felt both in the game and outside of it, more importantly. So not only does Jake think that he's confident in his abilities in the game, but he also just feels that he's in the best mindset he's ever been in his life, essentially, which is really great. I'm so happy for him. But now some of you may want to know, what kind of role is Jake going to play on the Outlaws? They already have flex DPS players on the roster. They've got Dante, and Hydration is supposedly going back to DPS as well this year. But, according to him, he's not just going to be a player on this team. He primarily wants to focus on coaching, according to him, and just helping the entire team be the best they can be in whatever way he possibly can. When I read that, I was not entirely surprised because recently he was on Dogman's new show, The Dustin Bowerman Show, and he talked about how he did have an interest in possibly coaching, so this seems like a great career path, a great way to kick that off for him. He can start off as like a player and a coach, and then maybe next year he can just become a coach on the Outlaws or a different team or wherever he may go, depending on how he does. This could be the start of Coach Jake, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take some time, but one day that could be a real thing. I could genuinely see Jake being a somewhat decent coach for a couple of different reasons. One, he's a former pro player, so he could provide a lot of guidance and mentorship, if you will. Another thing is that he's a very likable guy and he's very patient, so he could probably get along with most people that he coaches. But one other thing, you could tell that he has really, really good attention to detail based off of his casting, as well as his content creation on his Twitch and YouTube. From Jake's perspective, this all makes a lot of sense. As I was just saying, he could definitely help further his potential coaching career, but also he could potentially play a little bit again, and I'm sure that would make him very, very happy. But what's in it for the Houston Outlaws exactly? It's very confusing because it's not exactly like the Outlaws needed another flex DPS as we were already talking about. I guess maybe they could bring him on for leadership. I doubt that's the primary reason. Maybe they see some kind of potential with him coaching-wise too. I really don't know. It's hard to get a grasp on this. The only other thing I can think of is that the Outlaws just love Jake to death. Them and their fans would do anything for this guy. He is easily, at least in my opinion, the most famous player to ever wear an Outlaws jersey. I'm sure the Outlaws didn't even want to entertain the idea of Jake signing anywhere else. I'm not sure how likely it would have been that other teams would be extremely interested, but I'm sure it was definitely a fear of theirs. They knew very well that the fans would all eat this up and they'd be extremely excited because, I mean, this is Jake we're talking about. This is fantastic for marketing. And in turn, of course, Jake does love this organization to death. You can tell that he's a very loyal guy, so there's no way he would sign anywhere else. It would be way too weird if he did. So long as he is still considered to be a player, Houston is his one and only home in my eyes. I'm very, very curious to see how much of an impact Jake can have on the 2021 Outlaws in this dual role type of thing he has going on. According to him in a recent interview he did though, we shouldn't be getting our expectations up too high in terms of him as a player because he's not really focusing all that much on being the star player anymore or trying to get all the starting time like in seasons 1 and 2. He's more so just trying to focus on the team. It's difficult to say how well Jake is going to do, but I'm very excited to find out. I'm loving the motivation he has right now. I'm loving his mindset. It's going to be fantastic. That's all I really have to say about Jake joining the Outlaws, but there's one other thing we have to talk about, and that is, of course, ZP. What's going to happen with him in casting? And just generally speaking, what's going to happen with this other casting duo that we now could have a potential empty spot for in the league? You'd have to imagine that ZP at least has a little bit of interest still in casting in the Overwatch League, simply because that was a goal he worked for a very long time, and he seems like he really does enjoy his job, but of course, it might not be entirely up to him. In my opinion, there's a good chance that he's still around and that he gets a new casting partner, so with that in mind, maybe Avast comes into the Overwatch League finally. Remember that him and ZP did cast together in Contenders back in the day, and I believe the World Cup. They've got the chemistry, and a lot of people love Avast, so it would make a ton of sense. It's pretty doubtful in my opinion, but I suppose there is a chance that ZP ends up gone altogether, and if that's the case, then maybe, just maybe, people can start getting excited about one of their favorite tier 2 casting duos getting moved into the league. I know a lot of people love the guys who do Korean Contenders in particular, so maybe those two get their number called. Let me know what theories and predictions you have about the casting down in the comment section. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up this quick little Overwatch League news video. Let me know what you think again of the casting thing, plus Jake returning to the Overwatch League as a player down in the comment section. And as always, thanks so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.